Does the U.S. smell recession? Does it smell that way?
I'm afraid to use the R word in the US because Donald's going to hit me.
Welcome to another podcast here at Tfteam YouTube channel. How you been?
Fine.
How did you spend your Mother's Day?
With my mother.
Okay, good job, good
With the
job.
women in my life.
All right,
Yeah.
excellent. So since we've recorded our last news episode, a lot of things have happened. Canada's held their elections. We've got our prime minister confirmed. The Pope has gone, and the Pope has been elected.
White smoke. White smoke.
Yeah. We saw the white smoke. And there is another Canada Post strike pending.
Holy camole.
What's going on? We can't keep you away. These disasters continue to happen.
Actually, who uses Canada Post? That's kind of my
The
question.
people who depend on getting their letters from grandma and their little $100 in that letter, right? That's who needs a Canada
You're
Post.
right. You're right.
Maybe people who depend on their bank statements, don't use online banking, they need Canada Post. And some businesses, some business people that I'm talking to, they said they were affected when the Canada Post getting their parcels.
Small businesses, really. I mean, I was being flippant, making a joke about it, but no, like small businesses, the engine that drives our economy, the mom and pops, they're really impacted.
And if you don't have your CRA direct deposit set up as yet, you're going to miss out on getting your checks. Hopefully, you've done your returns and you've gotten your refunds already. Well, we're getting some check this month, right? No?
Carbon? Well, we're getting the last one.
We're getting the last one, right?
The last carbon tax, the last quarterly tax, because now the carbon tax has been eliminated as of with our new Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
And Duckford doesn't want to give us another 200?
I wish he would, right? We need more balls for the golf balls.
That's right. We need more money in our TFSA now.
That's
the market is going up. Why is the market going up?
You know what? I mean, we saw in terms of the volatility when Donald Trump speaks of tariffs, the markets tumble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, tariffs that he said were going to happen are not happening, and then the markets go up. So we're really seeing the volatility, right? So if you are risk averse, maybe you probably want to stay on the sidelines, right? Maybe money market GICs is probably good for you because your heart for the next 3 years is going to go up and down with all of those pronunciation from Donald Trump.
And you mentioned the volatility. I see you've written your notes there. So behind the scenes,
always prepared.
He's always prepared. He's got the TSX is up what 2.5% year.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I see, because people always think, you know what, I'm very aggressive. I could withstand risk.
Yeah.
Now we're really seeing what risk is about, because for the longest time we've had a bull market where basically the market goes up. Now, how do you feel when you're seeing one day your stock is at $10 and then the next day they're at $8, right? When it goes down about 20%. How do you feel? I mean, with my notes, what they're telling me is that, made in Canada is the place to be, right? The TSX year to date is up roughly about 2.6%, 2.57%. And then all the U.S. markets are down, right? The Nasdaq, 7%. That's where all technology stocks are heavily concentrated. The Dow Jones, which is the largest 30 companies on the New York Stock Exchange, is down almost 3%, 2.76. And then the S&P 500, which is the broader gauge of what the U.S. market is all about, is down almost 4%, 3.7.
So that being a leading indicator of the stock market, does the U.S. smell recession? Does it smell that way?
I'm afraid to use the R word in the U.S. because Donald's going to hit me, right? So I think it's inevitable, right? That
because the Federal Reserve said that they're leaving rates as it is, just like Canada, because they smell the risk of higher prices and also levels of unemployment. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. And we're already seeing the unemployment rate in Canada go up to 6.9%.
So we added 7,400 jobs and we gave up 31,000.
I know.
Mostly in manufacturing,
I
right?
know.
I think one of the towns that were mentioned is Windsor. So now is our time to go to Windsor and
help out.
help
Right?
out, right?
Start spending.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. You know, tariffs, as much as says it's a good thing, it's really a tax.
Yeah.
But it's a tax on the consumer. And we, as Canadians and Americans, we're going to see this
Yeah.
Halloween and Christmas, because most of the Halloween costume, I will say almost 90 to 100% is made in China.
You were made in China?
I'm going to get you for that one. All right. So Halloween. So now's the time for the supplies to be coming from China just in time for October.
Yeah.
Just as now's the time for all of the toys that are being made, which again are made in China, to be starting to be prepared and shipped to come to the U.S. So you're gonna see, right, your Halloween costume, which used to cost $19.99, will go up to like $39.99 because of the. I mean, depending on the day, I don't know what the tariffs is right now. If it's 150 or if it's 125%, but we're gonna see it's come in May. Because we haven't really seen it at the grocery store per se, but now that May and June are hitting, we're actually going to see prices rise.
And hopefully, the time we're recording this, I know the U.S. president is heading to China for some trade talks. So maybe we have better news when we record our next news episode. And hopefully things are looking better. And that we saw the UK make some deals with the U.S. and the stock market went up because of that.
But here's the thing about that deal. It's really negligible.
Yeah.
It's the devil's in the detail.
Yeah.
Right? Like they pronounce a deal where everybody's thinking, great, but the devil's in the detail. There's nothing truly new in that particular deal that they're going to be able to generate more sales from that, because a lot of it deals with Rolls-Royce, which is kind of the engine that is being used for airplanes. It's already they're already using Rolls-Royce, right? So I don't think that that's going to increase sales as a result of that. To me, it's just an announcement to make it look like they're doing something, but in actuality, it's the status quo. The one thing that the Americans have to realize is that we are their biggest trading partner, right? Even though doesn't need anything from us, all right,
they still need us.
We sell them the majority of their goods, and energy being a big one.
So the U.S. needs us, so they're giving us more time down in the South, so we can go to Florida for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
WestJet, we saw postponing flights or canceling flights to the U.S. So maybe they're incentivizing us now to go. They need the Canadians.
No, you're right.
And the Leafs are on a roll.
You can't. And the Leafs are. I mean, by the time we air this, the Leafs would have played 2 games, Friday and Sunday. So the Leafs may have swept Florida, right? Because the game is on tonight. But they've extended the stay. Well, there's a proposition that has bipartisan consent backing, which means that the Republicans and Democrats finally agree on something, and that is to let Canadians stay in the U.S. for longer than the typical 182 days. They wanted to extend it to 270 days. But here's the deal. We're not coming. So even if you extend it, right? So I don't know. And there's tax implication, as you know, because typically to be deemed to be a Canadian resident for tax purposes, you've got to be in Canada for 183 days. Correct. So if you stay in the U.S. for 270 days, will that impact our residency status in Canada? Still to be determined.
So maybe we will have to amend our legislation here to suit the U.S.
Pretty much.
Maybe. We'll see.
Pretty much.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
One final point. We always like to end on a positive.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
rent prices
Oh,
for
goodness.
7 months straight
Mhm.
has been trending downwards.
Mhm.
Is that a
Mhm.
good thing or a bad thing?
Very good thing.
Very good thing.
Very good
Not
thing.
good thing for
Not for
landlords.
landlords, no, but for consumers, it's a good thing,
Yeah.
and potentially a good thing for landlords too, because now you've got more supply, more individuals
Yeah.
that are willing and able
Yeah.
to rent, and then you probably get a better quality of applicants because the pool is
Yeah.
wider. But ultimately, it's good for everyone. More money in your pocket, and when I leave money on the table.
You never
Josh
leave
goes,
money.
I know, because I know you're going to gobble it up and go spending. So if
The
if there's
casino.
more money in our pockets, we tend to spend, which is not necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah.
because that's the way our economy grows, and we need our economy to grow through spending.
That's right. So with house prices trending downwards, rent
Mhm.
prices trending downwards, of course, if you were thinking of getting that new house,
Mhm.
you can look at our other episodes that
Mhm.
we've talked about over the week.
And
Yeah.
there's an upcoming
Upcoming episode, yeah.
that we're going to be doing a webinar / seminar
Yeah.
on a couple of seminars on buying your first home,
That's right.
and also looking to buy your second or third home, right? If it's a cottage or if it's a rental property. So be on the lookout for
Yeah.
the webinars, date and time to be determined at a theater near you. No, that's
No.
no. I'm sorry. No,
You're not Lilo and
no.
Stitch. That's wrong. All right. That's it from Lilo and Stitch here today.
Mm.
That has brought us to the end of our podcast for today. Of course, we've got brand new episodes, as Pierre said, coming up soon. So you don't want to miss it. Like, subscribe, share, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.